Welcome to Akhand Vidyasham, the first institute of impeccable wisdom. Let's talk about the five divine souls. The title may surprise you. This is something, in my opinion, being presented for the first time as the five divine souls. And below that, I've written cognition or recognition, conceptual understanding or revelation, and experience of the five divine souls by Shiv Bhushan Sharma. That's me. This is something which has changed me completely to the level of bringing it to Devi Ank. And what is important, how it has evolved before birth to this level is going to be explained with the scientific evidence, which has given me the power to understand A to Z of the entire universe, including physical body, perfectly. Now, I'm making one thing very, very clear. If you want to make optimum use of my videos, for the first time, conscientiously listen to the whole thing as one side, only listen. Let it be registered in your temporal auditory area as an impression in the brain to activate it to alpha frequency of 8 Hz. Second thing, go and open again. Study the written concept completely as an independent thing to be put in visual cortex or occipital region to be stored as a second source of information. Third, I want you to understand everything by yourself, order it and visual, and convert into your understanding by explaining to others. Integrate everything in the brain with the impeccable wisdom and write on your pad and let it be enforced in your brain completely. Once you are able to do that, you will have the cognition of all the 64 arts within you, and you will be the perfect human being, good for each and every one. And first thing for me is, let us become perfect human beings. Let's not worry about anything else. We need the world to be perfect, and only perfect human beings can do that without any defect and completely the way human beings have been designed by nature. Now let's come to the first thing. This picture I'm saying is the prime objective of everyone's life, including me, is a perfect physical health, free from diseases, perfect emotional stability, material wealth and prosperity, right education and knowledge, abundance and impeccable wisdom, and to be in tune with entire universe for the benefit of everything in the entire universe. We got to be the custodian of the world. That is the prime objective of every human being as a Lokpalan. The reason why we fail even to attain a disease-free life is primarily, over and I say, it is our ignorance. Whenever we take birth in the new form, we are totally ignorant of what we have learned in previous lives. And then if we are into inertia, not trying to learn A to Z of everything, we cannot improve. We are ignorant. We got to get data, information, knowledge, wisdom to impeccable wisdom over a period, step by step. So at every stage, we are learning something new, and that is enlightenment. From that level to the second one, to third one, to fourth one, to fifth one, to higher and higher we go, our impeccable wisdom expands. Enlightenment is learning from ignorance to new thing. Everything when get learned perfectly, we are enlightened. It's not some seeing some light or something. It is the knowledge. And how this knowledge improves, I am trying to give him my experience before the birth to till today. I have how I have grown to this level of Divyank and trying to tell this is a perfect everything from A to Z. And I'm just sharing my experience for the love of it, because I would like to be born again and then have this knowledge to start from the day one in my life. I didn't have to work this out again, what I have done in this particular life. This will be a chapter for everyone who's going to learn from ABC and also for me for next generation. Now come to the question of Akhand Vidya integrated education, which Indian philosophies have given world two philosophies. They stand out by themselves. The first thing which stands out in Indian philosophy is called Dvaita philosophy. That means there are two souls. Jivatma, the physical human body, is separate from divine self. Your Ishtadevta deity could be anyone you choose to be. That combination is Dvaita philosophy, and I'm going to talk about it. Second thing, Advaita philosophy, when me and divinity are one as a reflection, microcosmic representation of macrocosmic universe. Once that is known as Aham Brahmasmi, that gives you how much power we have within ourselves. These two philosophies have been given very clearly in Sanatana Dharma. I appreciate that. But I have, from my experience, learned actually it is a Traita philosophy which I have given way back almost 20-30 years ago. Ki I, as a Bhushan Sharma, is a Jeev Atma, human body of 100 trillion cells with all the consciousness. That is one entity as a perfect human being. I am a soul by itself. But then there is the divinity within me, which is called Antaratma, which I call Aditi, which is helium-4 to be made of. Once that combination is Advaita philosophy. But Traita philosophy is my chosen deity of Dvaita philosophy, which is Mata Vaishno Devi, as the third component. It's a combination of me, my soul, and Mata Vaishno Devi as a combination of Traita philosophy, which has given me the kind of knowledge which I wanted the world. And I'm going to explain that. After that, you go to Chatur philosophy. Then, when I'm going to see the divine nature's different aspects by themselves, then Panch philosophy is to understand Nirankar, Nirgun, Brahman, all the concept of the macrocosmic universe and microcosmic universe within the body. As a result, to understand Vedas, Upanishad, and the scriptures has become easier for me, and then get the divine mathematics from there. Now comes, let's start the first concept of Dvaita philosophy. My experience as I understand Dvaita philosophy in my life. This is the first greatest intuitive wisdom I got. Let's explore and explain step by step. Second thing, Dvaita philosophy is duality. Two are separate. Human being, Jivatma, is separate from chosen deity. And I've used the word chosen deity. I have not talked the universal consciousness. I am not called Paramatma. I am not called Ishvara. I am not called by any other name. I just a chosen deity, which could be different for different people. And I am very clear this foundation is in Vedas and it's in divine knowledge. And strong point is in Bhakti Yoga, the divine devotion towards the deity you choose. And I have chosen Mata Vaishno Devi as the deity because she is the incarnation of Goddess Durga. She is not a god and goddess as Vedas talk about it. It's a human form she has taken birth in Kanyakumari, come to Trikuta mountain for meditation, for higher evolution. So she is a student and I am her child and I am trying to learn from her learning, and as a result I have known. It is a student to student relationship. It's not a separate from each other. We are just like mother and son, and mother is teaching son the way she has learned. That's it. So for that, what I've learned, I have a complete self-surrender to my devoted Mata Vaishno Devi, completely, no compromise of any nature. Whatever she teaches, I would follow that, and that is what I've done for the first 40 years, intuitively between me and her. And then based on that, I've done my karma yoga, yoga of actions. Whatever I do has to be based on Jnana Yoga, action perfectly for the benefit of everybody. First lesson which I've learnt is to be one perfect human being. Not any ism of any nature, no religion, no concept, no nationality, nothing at all. I'm a human being. I want to be a perfect human being for the good of everything. That is something which is in Dvaita philosophy. As a result, it's an indirect oneness with the divinity. I have understood. Once you surrender to divinity, the divinity gives you all the knowledge you're looking, but it has to be perfect surrender without any question. I have never questioned the importance of Mata Vaishno Devi from before childhood to till today to community, and I will never this because she will tell me the truth and nothing other than truth. She has told me to be truth, honest, non-violent, perfect human being. If you want to evolve, is her lesson, and I follow that. But as a result of this oneness with divinity, bhakti yoga, there's a lot of poetry has been written, a lot of music has been written, dance, drama, many things have been written. She literally taught me many of the arts and sciences one by one. But there is something specific which happened later. Now, as far as Dvaita is concerned. Now, from Dvaita point, as I told you, it's Mata Vaishno Devi, these three pindis, and they represent Saraswati, Mahalakshmi, Mahaparvati, all the three. Like Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh in her, those three pindis teach me, and see Trikuta mountain tell me there is something which is in three. That means Trinity is important. And that is, and I've said she is incarnation of Goddess Durga, and she is born in Kanyakumari, has come to Trikuta for a meditation to get her chosen consort for further evolution. Let's leave it at that. Now, in this particular picture, I'm showing the again Mata Vaishno Devi, incarnation Goddess Durga. I love and the guidance of human incarnations only. I'm making one point very clearly. If I have to get experience in physical human body, it has to be done by a deity, incarnation, which has taken form in human form. That's why Dasavatara become very important because Rama was also born, Krishna was also born, Balaram was also born, and all the deities, Parshuram, Parashar, they have given me better knowledge because they experience in physical body and I'm able to comprehend from them much more easily. So that is the point which I make it. Second thing is when I talk into Trikuta mountain, these three mountains have taught me this is genuine divine mathematics is stored in Mata Vaishno Devi's three pindis as well as these mountains, and that is 22 by 21 is a Brahma. Power of 10 is Dasavatar, Vishnu, and 0.32 is Shiva. Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, like Saraswati, Mahalakshmi, Mahakali, have three are the one which I learnt as my child in Katra itself by being devoted to Mata Vaishno Devi and Trikuta mountain, and that is the knowledge which I revealed maybe over 50, 60 years. But it was worth seeking that perfection. Only with the perfection step by step happen. And that is what enlightenment I'm talking about. When I was born, before I was born, I got the information within my mother's womb. And then after birth, I started learning directly from Mata Vaishno Devi itself. That connection was very, very clear because of my devotion of my father, mother, and myself. And at the lap of Mata Vaishno Devi, things automatically happen because her influence of her energy was with me 24/7. I've grown with her and I continue to grow with her even today. Now there comes the question of another thing which Dvaita philosophy gives. If you are pure yourself, you start learning that you get into the womb of a growing fetus in your mother when the womb is of 22 weeks. That means first two trimesters are over. It could be 22 weeks to 24 weeks is that one. But that is the time the soul enters into physical body and rectifies it perfectly for spiritual science research to be done by the soul perfectly. And this transformation can come. And from the time the conception has taken place to the entry of this, which goes along with I3 of Upanishad, and it could be 117 days between death of the last soul to the rebirth into this form could be 117 days. I have explained that too. And this is my cognized my own experience without any difficulty at all. Now, this is the time I'm talking about descent, which Aitreya Upanishad case, it opens the Vidri Dwara or Brahmandra soul, and as you can see the soul, it is entering, and how it gets restored and transformed, that I've explained. You can read that as a later date one by one. Then comes to the next question. After being born, I had the pleasure of our first 7 years to visit Mata Vaishno Devi and certain places which are spiritual by and large. With the help of Mata Vaishno Devi's guidance, protection, shield, I saw a different light in different places. And one of the place which I visit beside Katra Vaishno Devi, Mata Vaishno Devi, was in Kashmir, Pahalgam, Martand, as well as Amarnath. This is a picture of Amarnath, which represents two pigeons which are immortal. How did they get immortal? Other thing became very clear when I came there, and this started manifesting layer by layer when I started working at Akhand Yoga exploration by and large and my PhD work and thereafter. Now this is the pond in Kashmir, Martand, which is fish tank. This actually taught me how to be pure vegetarian, not to take even fish as the god. You got to treat everything other living being as the gods. And that is what I learned and made me a perfect human being, respecting from fish itself. But fish had much little more important role in my life, which I'm going to show you next. This is a picture where for my Mundan ceremony, head hair being cut for the first time was done in a place called Baba Bed's Devta, which is our family deity. And God there is fish, you can see very clearly in this particular fish. And we have to offer to the fish all our surrendering, surrender to the fish. Now you teach us how to evolve from the fish. So that taught me all the vertebrates start their journey from fish only. And that means it is fish avatar, a Matsya avatar, which is first incarnation of Lord Vishnu. That knowledge started appearing in Marthand as well as this place, and then how I've learned step by step thereafter. And every stage is a learning. So learning first stage is the fish is your first stage of your creation itself. That as a medical doctor I realize trigeminal layer is exactly like fish. It has got all the qualities, and it has also the reptilian brain which gives me the power of perfect homeostasis. Now, science and spirituality started coming together. In that light, I had to see how conception takes place, how the perfect miracle cycle, what happened thereafter. It gave me a totally different way of looking at the knowledge of maths, physics, chemistry, biology, the way nature has done, not what is taught in different books. Books gave me an idea, but my inner soul and Mata Vaishno Devi taught me something very different. And with that understanding, new enlightening came, and with that, I had a perfect academic, exemplary life from school, college, university till today, and improving day by day because the foundation was in perfection human being, perfection, data, information, knowledge without any difficulty of any nature at all. That has brought me too close to nature because I'm devoted to nature in the form of Mata Vaishno Devi, who's in human form, experienced that and shared it with me. And now I'm sharing that with the world as a continuation of the teaching process. That's it. Now, this is a picture which I made of Akhand. But right at the bottom, you can see either you see the snake sitting there in the upper picture. You cut it and put it that way. Actually, it is fish. Fish and snake are identical. And that is the beginning. So I relate fish and snake as the starting point of human evolution. And I think that was a learning point for me while making this symbol, ki how divinity is within you. And you got to understand there's a fish within you, there's a snake within you, there are all the animals within you, there are all the birds are with you, that all the human beings are with you. There is even divinity is within you. That step by step self-realization has made me come to Devyank and show this is a perfect knowledge. And that is based on Dvaita philosophy, devoted self-surrender, Ishwar Pranidhana towards Mata Vaishno Devi itself. And everybody can choose whatever they choose. I have no issues at all. Now come to the question of knowledge. The one thing which I learned in Katra school was this particular shloka from Hitopadesh. Vidya dadati vinyam vinyat jati patratam patratavat dharam artvati dan dharam tat sukham. If you want to be perfectly, you want to get impeccable wisdom, the one who has got impeccable wisdom will lead to humility. As a humility, you will feel everybody as a part and parcel. And I have become more and more as a student, and I see everyone as my teachers, as my student, as my co-workers. I'm learning to be perfect with them. And that comes with the perfect knowledge and humility. And when we work together as one, which I've done 30 years as medical practitioner, 25 as pharmaceutical industry, and 20 years as spiritual scientist, as a part of our society's perfection itself, not with the defects. And that will give you a lot of prosperity. When you go after Saraswati, Lakshmi will come to you in abundance. But if you go after Lakshmi without Saraswati, you will not get complete importance of money at all. Now that, and when there is a money, there is righteousness, and there is righteousness is comfort, provided you get the money honestly through your hard work, dharma, earth, kam, moksha, not guided by free. Your karma yoga is very important. You have to be perfect. Only then comforts come. Anything which is given to you free without you earning it has no role at all. That is something which I learned from my childhood till today. I have never got anything free. I do not want free, but I give it free is a different story. But I do not want anything free from anybody. I have to earn my living from karma, bhakti yoga to karam yoga and to Gyan Yoga on my own efforts only. Nothing comes without an effort. And once you are perfect, everything perfection will flow to you. It is very natural by divine design itself, because we human beings are the only perfect beings in the entire universe. Everybody else is deficient. But unfortunately, our scientists, in the case of mathematics, physics, chemistry, biology, other thing, do not even know the perfection. So what we are learning from math, physics, chemistry to biological sciences are defect, defect, and defect. I am rectifying that with my experience, and I've been able to give something which cannot be defective in anything. And that is what I'm sharing about. Now come to the intuition. When you are a perfect human being, truthful, honest, for the good of everything, you automatically become a Siddhi Yoga. Whatever you say, it manifests. And you will not say something which is not going to manifest, is something which has been. One incident which I like to share. After writing my 10th examination, my mother wanted to know if I would pass the examination of the first attempt. Because no one in my family, including my elder brothers and sisters, passed even 10th standard without failing. She had, it's difficult, but when I said I would get first position in the board and I'll get 532 marks, was very clear, came from inside very moment she asked me. She started scolding me, you should not have ahankar. I said, it's not ahankar, I know where I stand. And I've been saying them from the very beginning. That has made me stand out in my class for years together, because I'm talking about perfection and every examiner likes perfection. That's it. And that is something which I'm showing in the record, in the 10th standard record. I got 532 only, the number I had given and record. And incidentally, I recorded on a paper to make sure what came from inside. Would it really happen? I didn't want it to record it, and I've shown it also to my sister and others. And I thought that was an interesting intuition which Dvaita philosophy gives it. It is not something to be underwritten. But even Patanjali talks about Ishvara Pranidhana is one of the very important parts in Niyam itself. It's a discipline you have to develop. Without that, you can't go on yoga at all. I thought that was a beautiful example, even as a child before I read about Patanjali Yoga Sutra. Now there comes the question of when you are with Dvaita philosophy, being perfect from A to Z, all said and done, you start getting divine rewards. And in school, I got an exemplary after 11th standard, a honor that you are exemplary from everything. This is the best credential you can ever get any student in any form anywhere in the world, because there can't be anything better than exemplary. You are leading from front. And this happened in my school in Jammu itself. Then the comes to in 1974, I made the symbol of Om in 74, and I had no idea about spirituality at that stage. But this is symbol of pi, 22 by 21, Om, and Mandukya Upanishad talks about the same thing in 12 stitches, which I have translated into symbolic form 1974 itself, more than 50 years ago. It's amazing. I had not read about Mandukya Upanishad. I have no idea about music. I had no idea about that. But Bhakti was very stored in me. That Bhakti within me, experiences Om chanting within me, has actually made me do this symbol 50 years ago. I thought that was amazing. That is the beauty of Dvaita philosophy, Bhakti Yoga, Karam Yoga, and Gyan Yoga comprehensively, because with that I went to school, with that I went to college, and this is the end of my college studies as a graduate itself. Then I started pharmaceutical company in 1980. I made a logo for Akhand, and at that particular stage I did not know what I was making. But when I look at the symbol now, I say, what a wonderful thing. Mata Vaishno Devi, divinity within me, made me do something which I was not aware of it. But it was laying foundation of the concept that one day I'll have to show the world Ishwar Pranadhani is very important for learning. Dvaita philosophy is important. Many other people say Dvaita philosophy, it does not work. It has a problem, but not much. But if the connectivity is 100%, it is wonderful. Now there comes the question of showing another thing which I learnt, that I am not a politician. I do not want to be elected. I do want to be chosen by a number of people. I have to be one person who stands out 100%. So that is something which happened way back in 31st December 1989 and 1st January 1990. We had got together for a dinner on 31st night of 1989, and we made a thing called Himachali Sabha, and I was chosen as ad hoc vice president by everyone spontaneously when we were meeting for the first time together in the house of one of the person from Himachal Pradesh. And subsequently for next 3 years as ad hoc vice president, being the only educated person, very prosperous person, industrialist, doctor, leading from front, I was little given the power to lead from front as one. And then I sported to buy six plots of land, made building infrastructure, everything for Himachali Sabha, primarily with my help from my pocket as such. For 3 years, it was wonderful work. Everything was going very well. But then, in 1993, December 31st, we had got together again to celebrate 3 years of work together at that stage. As you know, the world is full of politicians, divide and rule, and want to get power of something which is worth it. And when we were talking, having dinner, after the dinner, an idea was given. Now, time has come for us to go for election and choose the right people with majority wants to be the members of particular Himachali Sabha. And then the question of president and choice of first choice and second choice was same who had done earlier. But when it came to the question of vice president, somebody suggested somebody else's name and second person seconded that name. Everybody looking at me and say, why? You are the spontaneous, but nobody is choosing you. They are choosing other people who have nothing to do with the work. They are influential. They have the power. They have the money. They have the power to influence people because everybody is like a sold for a dinner, alcohol, non-vegetarian, etc. Those people got together, said, and when started looking at me, I said, no, I do not believe in election process. I agreed in the beginning as a ad hoc vice president by selection because everybody wanted it. And I do not want to contest come what may be. That's it. I put my set very clear. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a diplomat. I'm not a compromiser. I'm an honest, truthful, stubborn autocrat dictator. I like to sit in the seat and do work. If I'm not allowed to sit on the seat and lead with the perfection which I understand is good for everybody, I'm not prepared to compromise come what may. So I walked out and left it, and within 6 months, the whole organization came to zero. Because to run an organization of perfection, you need to have intentions very clear. नीति अच्छी होगी, नतीजे अच्छे होंगे, नतीजे अच्छे होंगे. If your intentions that you are not a perfect human being, you cannot run any organization effectively. And this decision was done in 1993 itself. After that, I made Akhand Foundation in 95 and Shri Akhand Foundation 2013. I do not want to be a part of anything which is going to take money from any organization. No NGOs. It's going to be me and it has to be come from my pocket, my hard-earned money, honestly and not from anything else. Even today, I do not ask anybody help, even one paisa from anybody. I only learn to give it. That has made me something like Surya Bhagwan. Learn to give and forgive, not get and forget. I think that's something which I learned with Dvaita philosophy from Mata Vaishno Devi, from my parents, and I continue to give that to the world. Learn to give and forgive. Otherwise, you are useless. Getting free, it makes you parasite, a liability for the society. You are absolutely no use. And I have gone and seen again and again. People should work, become good karma yogis. That's it. With knowledge, with the devotion. And these are the first things which I learned as a Dvaita philosophy. You can understand how you move on effectively with Dvaita philosophy. Now comes the question of the next stage of Advaita philosophy. 40 years I led unconsciously, subconsciously, consciously, and superconsciously without knowing about how to be perfect. But I know it is Mata Vaishno Devi, and, and that concept alone directly or indirectly made me do wonders which have shown it. But things have to happen consensus when time comes. After 40 years, 1st January 1991, things happen. That is time I learned how to have the voice of silence within my physical body. Till such time, I did not know anything within the body. I was unaware of something within me which can give you better knowledge of myself and also the universe as such. At least let me say, to give perfect knowledge of my perfect anatomy, physiology, biochemistry and psychology is given by Advaita philosophy within me. When I became Aham Brahmasmi, me and my body is able to teach me there is something within my body. That realization came in 1991. Now, this is Advaita philosophy. It's the second step of philosophies. Aham Brahmasmi. Jivatma and Atma in union with each other. And now earlier it was chosen deity. That is Mata Vaishno Devi. Ishwar Pranitana. Now I have brought it my Atma within me and myself are one in union. This foundation knowledge is found in Upanishads. This is the Gyan Yoga. This is realization of limited divine nature. And understand the whole thing concept that made me understand the Lord Brahma is the first Lord of creation. Lord Vishnu represents 10 stages of development. And these are the two things I learned as Aham Brahmasmi. Let me be very clear. Third, Shiva I did not realize within my body. Let me put it that way. This 22 by 21 to the power of 10 was realized in Advaita philosophy by me. Now there comes question of the soul within me, which I realize is goddess Aditi, and she is helium-4, and this is a picture from my concept as such. That's the first divine soul. Then Aditi is, Vedas call it, she is the mother and daughter of Daksha, the king, and Upanishads say she is the mother and daughter of Aditya, the sun god. And I have gone on to explain that both are there, and that is Antaratma, that is Kundalini, and that is the soul, and that is it, and it is made in Surya with 6,000 temperature in the core, and it is helium-4 only, and it remains intact throughout your consciousness from first Janma to the last as you move on. So that way Aditi is most important in Rig Veda, most important in Upanishads, most important in Aditya in the name of Kundalini, and Antaratma in Itihas. Now this is a picture of science. Aditi, Aditya and Aditi is the combination where I call Aditya, the sun, is hydrogen atom. Aditi is helium-4, the first two, and hydrogen is the most abundant, followed by helium-4. That's what nature is all about. And both I had realized within me during Advaita philosophy, which is the second track with initiation to simplified Kundalini Yoga. We are going to talk about it as we move on. Now, this is a picture of Antaratma within the soul, how it's produced in the core, and you have 2 electrons, 2 protons, and 3 neutrons as such, which come from 4 hydrogen atoms in the sun core with a temperature of 6,000 degrees is how it is. When it comes out, becomes the soul of every human being. And this soul has to go to Surya for completion. Otherwise, somebody who doesn't want can go to Kailash because you have helium shower there and your shower can merge into that. That's the reason when they go, they don't come back as such, they become enlightened souls. That I already explained in my video. Now the question of insight, how I got it. 1st January 1991, I had my breakfast at home and I was taken to Maharishi Vitatri's picture you can see for initiation to simplified Kundalini Yoga. And that's the turning point in my life from externalization, depending the world for 40 years with the insight from my Mata Vaishno Devi to something within me which made me realize my physical body better. I had the external knowledge given to me by Mata Vaishno Devi. Advaita philosophy. Now, Advaita, I got to know about myself completely. And that's it. When he put his hands between my thing and asked me to look into the concentration this particular picture for 22 minutes. During that time, I realized, experienced the movement of Usha Chakra, the Manipura, the upper celiac plexus, digestion, because I had gone there for breakfast. So it was working, Kundalini was working in hard for digestion into my breakfast. And then he put on that, he disturbed that Kundalini moving from upper abdomen, which I call Usha Chakra, which I had called it as a Manipura Chakra earlier, but I think Usha is much better. And to come to that was the experience which I gained. He disturbed the equilibrium of Kundalini from where it was required to take me somewhere which should not. That is also something which I keep saying. Premature accidental Kundalini without knowledge could be defective, and it has given many other people psychosomatic disorders called Kundalini syndrome. I also suffered from it. Now the conscious, it moved from the heart, as you can see the picture, towards the left, and then came to head. As such, you can see the picture that experienced in 1991 of initiation. But then thereafter, it was the result was I started suffering from heaviness of the head. no medicine could relieve. Then simplified Kundalini Yoga assistant healed it within 3 strokes from head to back, just like that. That was an amazing point. I said, as a medical doctor, if I can learn this, I can relieve the pain of everybody just with this kind of simple healing. Then I wanted to learn other things. So I learned other techniques from there, step by step, thereafter, which I'm going to show about. One of the things was Turyatitam, concentrate your mind 1 foot over the head. Mind you, in the beginning I said it Kundalini comes within, sleeps in Muladhara chakra. It comes to the head. But he's talking to me to take it to much higher than that. Mean 1 foot over it. And my Kundalini is able to help me to concentrate that a chakra over Sahasrara chakra itself. But it started giving me siddhis, and I didn't want to get into that. Once experience is good, second for confirmation is required, third becomes a liability. And 2 times are allowed to use every siddhi, all the 64, maybe more, but not more than 2 times, come what may. I have put my foot down. I will not do it. And this picture is a beautiful picture of that experience of Turyatitam, which gave me siddhi power. I used it, and I use it even today when it's required to understand concept very clear, whether it's the astral travel or knowing things one by one better. Now that comes to the review or reward. Then I realize I'm a scientist by myself. Without the proper theoretical knowledge, no experiment should be done. I did not know ABC of chakras, nadis, kundalini, tantra at all before I was initiated. I had no idea about it. But that gave me the knowledge. Then I said I would read. Then for next 2 years, I studied all the books available. More and more I studied, more and more confused I felt. Because everybody was talking only 7 chakras, where I was experiencing something, not 7 chakras at all. The nadis had no physical connections, but I was feeling whole thing within my body. Whatever the books were talking about is not what I learned. So then I thought, since the books are not giving me the knowledge, let me join a school of yoga, learn Patanjali Yoga Sutra, a yoga completely step by myself. Have an experience how yoga can help me to understand chakras, nadis, kundalini and tantra completely. So I went to the school, and 92 I had the experience of, after yogasana, pranayam, Tratkam and meditation, I experienced 5 lights within me. Right at the bottom, Muladhara, 1 stage, Swadhisthana, 2nd stage, Navi, 3rd stage, Anhata and Vishuddhi. By the time it came to Vishuddhi, I saw myself surrounded by the light which started as a spark in the Muladhara to become outside. And when I explained that to the teacher, he said, no. But now I know, I experience Shunya as a zero in the center, and Shunya expanded later, and also Panchabhutas I understood. The Prithvi was with the Muladhara, Apa was with the Swadhisthana, Agni was with the Navi, Vayu was with Anhata, and Akash was with Vishuddhi, and all that was an amazing experience to experience within yourself how beautiful is the perfect human body. You can see the light around you by yourself. And when that said, please don't, you will be considered mad. I said, no. Ectoderm is the responsible for ectomorphs, and eyes are developed from ectoderm. So is the nervous system. So is the skin from that. They're all interconnected, has all the perception, are experiencing all the Panchabhutas, all the senses completely by the skin itself. It has the dendrites, which give you the perception outside as well as manifestation. I thought that was an amazing experience for me to move on to understand, and this became a part of my symbol Akhand itself. Then come to the question of experiencing major nadis. There are 72,000 nadis in the body. I'm not going to talk. Some of the major nadis I have written in that, I leave it. But I talk about 3 nadis very clearly. One, Ida and Pingla. These are the 2 things which Satchakra Nirupana talks about it. They are the left and right side are round. And this is the experience of that which I say, left sympathetic chain and the right sympathetic chain with a 22 plus 22 ganglion plus bottom at Ganglia Nipar as a Muladhara chakra is a perfect example of Eden Pingala within this. And this is something which I learned as a phenomenal. That's it. Now comes the question of Sushumna Nadi is right in the center, which I related with vertebral column. And that's it. And it has got 6 chakras as such. And that is in the middle. But then those chakras are related with the vertebral column. If you say coccyx, 4 bones as 1 unit, sacrum as the 2nd unit, lumbar as the 3rd unit, lower thorax and upper thorax, then cervical, then 14 head bones and 8 skull bones are the 7 steps was related to 7 chakras, but you cannot experience that. There are stages in Sushumna Nadi alone. That is something which I realized. I thought that was a wonderful experience. Then I went on to more into details with Satchakra Nirupana again. It talks 7 chakras outside, but it talks something more within the Sushumna Nadi. It says within the Sushumna Nadi you have Vani Nadi, which I call it free flowing cerebrospinal fluid as such. Within that is the Surya Nadi, which is white descending and ascending matter of the spinal cord and the brain. Then Chandranadi, the grey matter. Then you have central canal Brahmanadi, and within that is Antaryog, is something which I experienced as I moved on. So even Satchakra Narpana does not talk about 7, talks about more than that, which includes what Sushmana Nadi, Vani Nadi, Surya Nadi, Chandra Nadi, Brahma Nadi. You can talk them as additional chakras and make it 10 plus as such. That was a great enlightenment for me. Now, same thing I related with this particular picture. You can see vertebral column is Sushmana Nadi, subdural space is Vani Nadi, white matter is Surya Nadi, grey matter is that, and central crown is Brahma Nadi. And in the process also realize there are 3 Granthis, Brahma Granthi, Vishnu Granthi and Rudra Granthi, which I will not talk about now. We will talk about it at a later in detail. Now, within Vani Nadi, once energy, Ojas, gets into Vani Nadi, you can experience the shape which is spinal cord and Gada of this and chakra. They're all identical. I have experienced that within me. It's a beautiful thing to be experienced where the internalization of Ojas to get inside to be converted into the power of itself, which gives the power of sexual energy by and large. Then comes the question of understanding Satchakra, and the description which is given in that is 3 plus 1, 7 or 22. A pi is the structure of Kundalini when it is sleeping. And that is Shivling, that is spiral, that is Shank, all in the same form. Which I also realized as I read Satchakra Nirupana step by step, and its shape as a Shank or even Kund is also like that. Then further I've gone on to show how the description is actually Kundal, or now you're talking about Mahakumbha. That Kundal is also exactly the shape of this, which made me realize how shape is at 1.1.6180. That's a perfect design of mathematics of Kanch, Shank, or Divyank perfectly. That's a realized that thing. Fibonacci sequence is good, but golden ratio as such is defective because 2 different values. Perfect value is given by Divyak alone. I realized as I moved on. Then come to the question of experiencing 10 chakras one by one. I experienced that in 1993 itself on one of the Purnimas. And also experience 3 nadis was fantastic. Then in the process, you can see the aura around my face and even on top of the head as a light on top of my head. This is something which was very clear. Then I went on to the next stage to experience the internalization of Kundalini from 3 chakras outside to inside breaking Mula Grantha, Brahma Granthi, and get into central canal and going to Brahman, where internalization helium took place, or Kundalini took place, and gave me the opening of third eye, where I started seeing all the 10 dimensions within my eyes automatically. That also made me realize that on top of it, you call it Mata Vaishno Devi, there's another force. That awareness I got it by 1995 itself. But then, by that time, I had experienced to the much better level of prime ascent completely through the external yoga I have already understood. It was beautiful, but it's a temporary as such because it goes up only during pranayam, but comes down once you stop it. There's not a permanent ascent. The permanent ascent what I've shown. In the result, I realized that outside you have Panchkoshas, which everybody talks about it, but actually there is antaryog, same thing inside is taken, is much more precise, which I experienced after this particular initiation. More than that, I'll come back to later. Now, having understood Dvaita philosophy on one side, Advaita philosophy on another thing, now comes a Traita philosophy which I experienced after that experience. That means Jivatma I have understood within myself, Aditi I have understood in Advaita, Jivatma and Mata Vaishnavi and Dvait, Jivatma and Aditi as Advait. Now, Tret, Jivatma, Aditi, and Gayatri, all the three. There is another force on top which is 1 foot over my head, which Tiryatitam taught me. So I could understand that. So instead of Vaishno Devi, now the new concept Gayatri came, and I was made to realize that Mata Vaishno Devi is trying from Ashtabhuja to Dasabhuja of Gayatri. That's what I experienced that is also Durga. Durga only, or Mata Vaishno Devi alone as a Gayatri is that because she reached that particular level itself. And in the process, I understood the beauty of my physical body as the 10 plus chakras, solar system I realized, and also the complete thing. In the process, I understood that concept of 22 by 21, which is given in Upanishads, is so clear in Traita philosophy. Now, in Traita philosophy, I said Jivatma Atras means one. This was experienced by me, and consider experience was 2004. And then I led step by step thereafter, right up to my book Akhand and Essence of Universal Consciousness, which was published in 2002. I had a concept very clear of 22 by 21 to the power of 10. But Shiva came to later, slowly over a period of 2004 with Treta philosophy as such. From that, I moved on to concentrate within my body, voice of silence, and higher forces. Step by step, I realized my physical body, solar system, and also spiral galaxy as such was very clear in Treta philosophy. Now, moving from inside microcosmic Jivatma, a pendant, to solar system, Brahman was very clear with Treta Paravidya. Now, the second divine force I would say is Gayatri. You can see with the 10 arms, 10 forces was very clear. Then this is also, I will say, it's a descent of Mahashakti as a Gayatri, as a Neon 21 was. First, Shibhushan Sharma, what is the Rig Veda, idea of nations? I experience all the atoms and elements, which are 100 trillion cells, are 33 crore devatas within my body. But it is Helium-4, which is Antaratma, which is the first devil soul. And Neon 21 is the second divine soul, which Treta philosophy taught me. But in the process, I understood that Atma is cannot be cut, cannot be burnt, cannot be dissolved, cannot be destroyed. It's eternal, it remains same. And that is what helium is, that is what neon is, that is what argon is, that is what krypton is, and that is what xenon is. These are 5 elements which I'm talking about divine souls. And this experience that gave me this inner matters, the one you reach that level directly or indirectly to experience the higher and higher levels. Now, new energy of seeing better and better levels of higher consciousness start appearing as such. So, soul from helium to Gayatri to Adi Prashakti to higher Krypton, Xenon came up as I moved on. Now, this is again a definition. I told you what it is all about, is a matter. Now, Rigved says before the creation there was darkness. And I say it is not darkness, it is the inert matter which is there. And that is where I am talking about. It could be argon 40 or neon 21 which are there. As long as they are not charged, they'll be dark. Very moment you charge those symbols, they become light. I've already explained. Now come to the question of before the creation, Vedas say it was darkness. Brihat says it's Mrityu. And Voice of Silence says it was organ 40, which became neon 21 to start with. And that is where the whole process of evolution of the solar system, as we know of Brahman, came up. And here you can see Big Bang of neon 21 plus 21 leading to form of neon 22. With the time, with the 10 stages, it came down to all the elements within my body. But in this picture also say, after the creation, Lord Brahma took rest for 1.5 years. And I say, after the sperm and ovum get together to form zygote, for next 1.5 days, zygote takes rest, is same thing which I thought was phenomenal. Now the question, the presence of this neon 20, 90%, neon 21, 1%, neon 22, 9% is there in the universe even today. Now the concept divine mathematics, spiral galaxy right up to that is based on neon 21 as a Gayatri said. Gayatri has 10 electrons, 10 protons, 11 neutrons. And our nervous system starts. Even the sun, from North Pole to the South Pole, it takes 11 years for the movement alone. From south to north, 11 years. So you can see the beauty of universal consciousness coming to play a role even in the sun's core itself. Its movement within that, 11 plus 11 is again 22. This is where the mathematics becomes a conclusive. Then there is no doubt whatsoever in any form, because language of the nature is divine mathematics, and that is what Divek I'm talking about. Now there comes to scientific research, which I started with Madras University. I applied in 93 after 2 years, but official publication in 95. But between 93 and 95, my research was going on as single case study live. Now I'll show you the results were given as such. I'll not go into details of this, but this is the institution where I got the work. But now I'm talking about normal EEG is you have 10.5 hertz frequency from posterior brain when mind is erect, eyes are closed. No alpha is seen in the rest of the brain, and on thinking alpha is replaced by beta. After opening eye, no alpha, only beta. This is normal response of physiological, which a neuroscientist of the world says a normal EEG. Now, keeping this in mind, I have started. So if you see in 93 picture is exactly the same picture in my thing in 93. But within 2 years of experiencing Kundalini by and large, you can see in 95, I started producing alpha frequency soon after opening the eyes, which is not there in 93. In 95, you can see both are mine only, but amplitude has increased. But alpha has come back to 10.5, sir, even after opening the eyes. That picture is very clear. But as we went on to other research and controls, but none of them could do it. So let's leave it at that. But then I went on to do further research to convert into conventional EEG into the power spectrum analysis to get a power spectrum perfect analysis, quantitative and qualitative, was done with the help of Dr. A.C. Gangadhar in Madras Medical College itself. Now, EEG recording was done in the 3 stages, dharana, dhyan. So I am not going to detail, but 2 minutes was taken. Then analysis was done. I found that in my case, with the open eyes, I have a coherence of in samadhi much better than dharana and dhyan, whereas other control subject could not control it. This is the picture. But come to the question of with the closed eyes, you can see the symbols of both me and other 6 identical. Only difference is I have almost 2.5 times more power than other control people. Kundalini gives you extra power, and that you can see in the power spectrum itself in the power form. But what was amazing, after opening the eyes, control subjects had no alpha, but I had a fantastic alpha, and particularly with samadhi, it was phenomenal. That was a turning point in my life, and that was between 1998 to 2001, before my PhD work was given. See the transmission of 10.5 heart to heart today. That was a phenomenon. And then this is the coherence I started seeing. Then this whole result was given to the university, and Professor Namachan has given me a testimonial stage saying A to Z was done by me single-handedly with the help of his supervision and other people under direct scientific thing to make sure there are no flaws whatsoever. Many experts were watching that work, including A.V. Swaminathan, A.C. Gangadhan, Professor Namachan, and other experts. They were amazed at the kind of results which were producing. It was a turning point in yoga education, and that's what he's trying to explain in the process. But then, but at the same time I started going, I realized this is a part of my PhD work. There is human resonance field, which is ionosphere, which gives you the power extreme. Now I bring you word ionosphere. That means elements are there. Atoms, elements are there. But they convert to ionic form, only they become divine. So in ionic form, in human resonance field, there are three fields. The one which is very close to human beings on the earth is 7.83, you can see. Then forget about other two. Let's not interested, that is not my concentration. My concentration 7.3, alpha frequency ideal as such. That is Akash Kosh. We have the record of all the past, present and future events one by one thereafter. Now, in the process, I realized that outer three layers of neocortex have dendrites, which are towards the universal conscious Akash Kosh. That knowledge of that three thing is not known to any neuroscientists of the world. They don't even know what is the function of it, let alone use it. They use it only up to fourth layer, and ascending and descending only up to fourth layer. Second, third and first, no action is known, whereas I had inactivated, and as a result of that I could produce 8 hertz as I moved on thereafter. Now this is the structure of that. Up to fourth you can see the connection, second, third you cannot see. And now after that, now I am able to produce with closed eyes 8.5 hertz throughout the brain, which no one in the world has ever done till date. This is with a closed eye, 8.5 hertz, you can see the frequency. But with the open eyes, it is 8 hertz throughout the brain, much better, much more power, is something which is amazing, turned me into something divinity within me, showing it. Now it's time for you to move on. And that's it. This is. Now, as a result, I realized that if you want to be Akhand Yogi, Katha Upanishad says, horse, 5 horses plus chariot is Jivatma, whereas Arjun is Antaratma. So Advaita, Arjun is able to do wonders because Jivatma and Antaratma together in Arjun, as I have seen as an Advaita philosophy within me, to do wonders. But Paramatma comes as the third element, higher forces, which gives you the power of the entire universe. No wonder Krishnaji is known for 16 Kala as Sampurn, even by everybody. And I can tell you 16 Kala at that stage was a phenomenal improvement by any human being to be in tune with universal consciousness. I think that was a fantastic. Now, external manifestation, something which I showed you, was the same thing. But I realized actually Taittiriya Upanishad says that you have sheaths inside. Annamaya Kosh is the first, then Pranamaya Kosh, then Manomaya Kosh, Vijnanmaya Kosh, Anandmaya Kosh, then you have Guhyam, and that is Antaratma. These are 7 things inside is much better in Taittiriya Upanishad, which is not there in external factor of 7. Now, Akhand Rishis, you can see Annamaya Kosh, Pranamaya Kosh, Manomaya Kosh, Vijnanmaya Kosh, Anandmaya, Guhyam, Antaratma as one part, and also Paramatma. And this is a symbol of Divyank. 22 by 21 to the power of 10 is what it is. Then you become one with universal consciousness. This is symbolic representation. Now, having learnt about Dvaita philosophy, having learnt about Advaita philosophy, learnt about Traita philosophy. Incidentally, Traita philosophy lecture was given by me in Jammu University way back in 2007 itself. But then coming back to Chennai and realizing the next stage of evolution, the third divine soul is Adi Prashakti. As you see in Aditi, has got 2 arms. Gayatri has got 10 arms. But here you have 18 arms. This is an old picture. Adi Prashakti is supposed to 18 hands. Do these 18 hands mean something? Yes, they mean 18 electrons and 18 protons. Similarly, Gayatri 10 electrons, 10 protons. But there are 11 neutrons there. Here you could be 22 neutrons. So it is argon 40. And now I'm taking you to the periodic table. So you can see in this periodic table that you have period, there are only 7 periods. That means everything is made of 7 alone. But when it comes to the group, there are 18 groups. I have not done it. But this is what periodic table is. So think Adi Prashakti is, and all the things right into periodic table as such. But you can see another picture on top. As from up to down, size increases. But as the size from left to right, it reduces. That is beautiful science. That suppose your left side hydrogen is larger, but helium will be smaller. If second thing you find, say sodium is a larger, third, then come to the chloride level, it comes down. But that is something which I realized how atoms, when they're converted into ionic form, they become divine souls. For example, hydrogen is an atom, perfect abundance, but helium is a soul. See, second thing, all the elements are left side. When they become like neon 21, that means fluoride can convert into neon, or the sodium can become neon 10. Sodium has 11, it gives 1 electron, so it becomes 10, starts functioning neon. Similarly, chloride, when becomes ionic form, 17 becomes 18, you see it very close to argon itself. But on the other side, potassium also has the same thing as such. Is it surprising? No. That is how sodium is a powerful divine element. So is chloride, so is potassium, so is calcium, so is iodine. When come to the iodine, I'll go to it later when we come to that stage. Let's restrict ourselves to 18 arms as such. We have come to a stage to realize chloride and potassium, which are internal, are Adi Prashakti, whereas sodium and chloride are extracellular components. Simple. Extracellular is sodium and chloride, and internal cellular is potassium and chloride, and also calcium. That's it. I think that makes the picture very clear how periodic table actually defines. It's the ionic form which represents like noble gases. And you can experience these three itself within your body, a much higher level of evolution. Within that is what I'm talking about. Now come to the question of before the creation, after creation, things are given. Let's not go into detail. You can read it as such. But I would say it all started with argon 40. Then you can see argon 40, 18. You can see 18 electrons, 18 protons, and 22 neutrons as a picture of Adi Prashakti. But krypton and xenon are little unstable. So Pancham is again fourth divine sister, Trinity Mother, which produces Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, Saraswati, Mahalakshmi is the common stage. That means by the time what Rigved is talking about is converting to I3 evolution, how atom elements actually act as a divine souls within our body and lead to the formation of divinity within us. That was the Pancham philosophy very clearly. Now, in that particular thing, you can see by coming to the Pancham level within the physical body, I have understood the beauty of all the essential atoms, element, molecules, compounds as such, without the ionic and atomic form completely. That was a fantastic thing as far as Pancham is concerned. But moving on to the sixth, the Sasta, the last, Sasta means sixth or the last. It's a divine soul. Essence you can see in the picture right in the middle, which is actually representative of DNA particle itself. Now, in this particular camp, I have come to explain very clearly it is iodine only. Iodine is the 53rd element. When it becomes ionic, it becomes 54. It acts like xenon. So it gives you the experience of much higher level of knowledge, which even other people have not even seen it. And now I would like to give you an example of something which I have seen, which no one in the world even dreamt of saying that in that particular form. Is this particular picture of Nilkant Shiva. Now everything, this is a blue black vapors which are killing people, and Shiva was asked to take, he is taking it, and Parvati is putting a snake around the neck. Everybody thinks it's a different story. So many colors, so many stories have been told about it. I'll not go into detail. But actually it's the Suri Sagar Manthan, it was iodine which was brown became blue black, which can kill. Even today iodine can kill. But when iodine is taken up in the thyroid gland to convert into thyroxine, which is used as a thermogenic hormone, and that story I've already explained. I thought that was a fantastic. That took in me the level of iodine, 53rd to 54 to xenon level. That last thing you can experience of periodic table within your physical body. Beyond iodine, there's nothing which is useful. Everything before that is useful. And I had learnt all that within my physical body, all the experiences, and I'm able to demystify all the mysteries which are seen by people one by one. Now, coming to the last picture, a sense of what you have seen from the very beginning to this is present into this. I'm not going to details of this because here you can see Ida, Pingala, Sushmana, you can see Sushmana, you can see all the inside, you can see Atma inside, you can see Chen chakras. Everything which I have spoken about is there in this particular picture itself. I think that should be enough for the world to see. So thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to share my experiences of universal consciousness from Dvaita philosophy to Advaita philosophy to Traita philosophy to Chatur philosophy to Pancham to Sasta within the physical body itself. Unless until you cognize that within your physical body, you will not be able to understand Rig Veda, you will not be able to understand other Vedas or Upanishads or scriptures by and large to be one with universal consciousness. Only human body can give you with a complete devotion for higher chosen thing without any compromise whatsoever. You got to be truthful, honest, and committed to do that. You will do it. If you're going to compromise for the making people happy, diplomatically, democratically, otherwise, you will never be able to do. And that may be the reason why I'm keeping alone with that, because let the people benefit from this. They don't have to meet me or see me in any form. And I'll leave it at that. So, thank you very much.